Feeling lost in a sea of beliefs, Chloe's overwhelmed by conflicting spiritual paths, struggling to find her place. Watch as she discovers a simple truth: you don't need all the answers. Learn how to navigate your own beliefs one step at a time and find peace in the present moment. A journey from confusion to quiet understanding awaits. Chloe wandered into the vast bookstore, drawn by an invisible thread to the religion and spirituality aisle. She yearned not just for knowledge, but for an anchor in the swirling sea of beliefs that crowded her mind. Each book whispered a promise, but their voices clashed like instruments out of tune. To her left, the Buddha's path promised release from attachment, while on her right, Stoicism offered peace through reason. Clutched in her hands, a book on Christian mysticism spoke of divine love. How could she reconcile these conflicting truths? Each page whispered promises of peace, yet the teachings clashed, tangling her thoughts like thorny vines. Detach from desire, one said, while another urged embrace suffering. A third called for surrender to divine will. The more she read, the heavier her chest felt, her breath shortening like a dying candle. She was drowning in wisdom, a suffocating storm, feeling trapped in an eternal crossroads. Slowly, she sank to the floor, her back against the towering bookshelves, the books forming a silent fortress. "How can they all be right?" she muttered, her voice barely a whisper. A gentle voice broke through her spiraling thoughts. Trying to find the best cookbook. It was the store employee pausing with a stack of novels, his eyes kind and warm. Chloe looked up, startled. "Cookbook?" she repeated, confused. The employee nodded. "It's a metaphor. You can read every recipe, but unless you cook, you don't know what you like." "You don't need the perfect recipe for all time," he continued. "Just one that sounds good for dinner tonight." His words were a gentle breeze in the fog of her mind. Chloe looked at the books, the Buddha, the Stoics, the mystics, and then back at the man. Her search had been an endless buffet, hoping for a meal that satisfied her soul completely. She had forgotten the simple power of cooking one meal well, taking one nourishing step at a time. A small but genuine glow returned to her eyes. Slowly, she stood and began to return the books to their places. But before leaving, she took one last book off the shelf. It wasn't an answer to all her questions, but it was a step, a practice she could try tonight, a simple guide to walking meditation. As she left the bookstore, a lighter feeling filled her chest. She didn't have all the answers. She didn't need them right now. She had a plan, simple and real, to walk, breathe, and be present. The city sounds seemed softer, more melodic than before. The setting sun painted the buildings in hues of orange and pink, as if the world itself was encouraging her first steps. That evening, Chloe found a quiet park where the trees stood like wise guardians, their leaves rustling with ancient secrets. She began to walk slowly and deliberately, feeling the earth beneath her feet, each step a grounding anchor. With each breath, she released the tension in her shoulders, the tightness in her chest, the confusion in her mind. The park sounds, the chirping of crickets, the distant laughter of children became part of her, not distractions, but anchors to the present moment. She noticed the intricate patterns of the leaves, the way the moonlight dappled through the branches, the quiet beauty of the ordinary. The labyrinth pendant around her neck felt less like a symbol of confusion and more like a map. Each turn a choice, each step a journey inward. In that moment, Chloe realized that sometimes the path to truth begins not with grand discoveries, but with humble steps forward. Not with mastering the universe's mysteries, but with learning how to cook one meal that feeds the heart. Back at home, she brewed a cup of herbal tea, the steam curling upwards like a gentle invitation to slow down. As she sipped the tea, she opened the book on walking meditation. Its pages now filled with possibility instead of pressure. She realized that beliefs, like recipes, are best when savored, experimented with, and adapted to one's own unique taste. The endless crossroads had become a garden, each path a flower waiting to be discovered, each belief a seed waiting to be planted. Chloe smiled, knowing that the journey of belief was not a race to a finish line, but a dance, a slow and graceful exploration of the heart. And with each step, she was home. In that moment, Chloe realized that sometimes the path to finding one's truth begins not with grand discoveries, but with humble steps forward. Not with mastering the universe's mysteries, but with learning how to cook one meal that feeds the heart.